Okay, there we go.
Hello, everybody. Give us just a couple minutes. We are wrapping up some behind-the-scenes stuff. I couldn't even see you, Matt.
Yeah, put us in the background.
Huh?
Put us in the background in the waiting room.
Oh, I see how you feel about us.
Yep. Well,
Yes.
I'll put myself in there too.
It's not even fair. I'm trying to find us. Where are we at in the group, Matt? Are we in the group?
Yeah.
Gotta make sure we have our OGs. Here we go. We're live. We're good to go. You set, Matt?
I'm ready. Let's do it.
All right. Harish, did we lose you?
He's on mute.
There he is.
What up?
All right. You ready, RJ?
Yeah, I'm ready.
You better be watching that comment section because you know they're coming after you tonight. I'm just saying.
Oh yeah, I love this thing.
Just saying. Oh, actually, we already got one.
Oh, no.
Before I even start for the podcast part, Chris Jackson says, "Y'all got RJ on again. I'm upset."
Hey man, tell him I got this Run the South shirt too. So yeah, just for him.
Chris, if you heard that, he's wearing it for you. All right, here we go. Hello, everybody, and thank you for tuning in to the AFC South Fan Battle Podcast. My name is Samantha Wernet. I am back, and on behalf of all the guys at the AFC South Fan Battle, I just want to apologize to all our viewers and listeners that you've had to listen to all of them besides me because, I've been busy. I've been doing mom things, but I'm just picking on you, Matt. You're doing a good job holding down the fort, but
I'm glad you're back too. Gets old.
yeah, now you know how I feel. Especially when your team sucks. It's even worse, right, Matt?
Right. Most definitely.
Exactly. So get used to seeing this face because we're back on our normal schedule. Of course, we all know why. The draft. And here we are, season 4 of the AFC South Fan Battle Podcast. It's been so much fun. I missed it. Like there were days that I couldn't come on here, but I can truly say that I missed it. But I did enjoy being a viewer and logging on and talking crap to Chris Jackson and stuff. So, it's been fun to be a viewer, but here I am back in I don't want to call it driver's seat. What's the appropriate word?
Back in the fold.
Sure. We'll go with that. I like that better. So let's kick it off. Introducing our commentators for this evening, representing the Texans, we have Matt Briggs.
In Nick, we trust.
Say it again, one more time.
In Nick, we trust.
In Nick, we trust. Got it. Representing the Colts, we have Harish Nookala.
We just take it one day at a time and just see what happens.
That doesn't sound as confident as the Harish Nookala we know. That does not. Representing the Titans, as much as everybody in the group may love or hate this, RJ Ellison.
Hey, we don't rebuild, we reload, baby.
Oh, now you sound like a Jaguars fan. Representing the Jaguars, we have Matthew Grieve.
Hold on, I got a phone call. Oh, just heard the Jaguars just signed another linebacker.
Oh my! Nothing that would not surprise me at this point after that.
Sound like the Texans last year.
Yeah.
Y'all got the best linebackers in the league at this point.
Maybe there was like draft pick capital. Maybe Bulk's going for like linebacker capital, so we can have all the linebackers and just hold them hostage.
Yeah, that way you never not have one anymore. Miles Shack will never be down again.
Jacksonville's always had really good linebackers. I'll say that much. We've always had really good linebackers.
That's all we had to hold on to. Well, guys, let's go over NFL news before we jump into our teams just really quickly. I know we have a lot to unpack tonight, and especially with some of the grades that came out. This draft was very confusing with the different draft commentators, ESPN and NFL or whatever, that came out with the grading. It felt like it was very all over the place, so I can't wait to talk about that. But first and foremost, DeAndre Hopkins, our one and only Texans/Cardinals fan, Matt. Do you want to comment on DeAndre Hopkins and the 6-game suspension?
He's an idiot. Got caught like the Astros did and got caught cheating. I mean, I applaud him for trying, but got caught just like his buddy Will Fuller.
Yeah, so I wonder, because Will Fuller, didn't he say he was on fertility drugs?
Yes, him and Bradley Roby.
Well, and the thing is, a lot of these people are getting it from their doctors or nutritionists and stuff. So at what point do you have accountability for those people who are providing it? I kind of feel bad in a way. Of course, when you're clearly taking steroids, right? But at what point do you have accountability for the people that you trust to provide you?
Well, he was going to appeal it, but then he pulled his appeal. So who knows?
We'll see.
That's a self-accountability right there.
Yeah. Well, and then besides that, really quick, Colin Kaepernick is back in the talks. He's back in the quarterback discussion. I heard this week that the 49ers, anyone to confirm, the 49ers were possibly looking at him. I know there was talks about,
I think the Raiders too. I think there's 2 of them.
Yeah, there's been a few rumored to be looking at bringing him back on the field, so we'll see how that unfolds. But we know why we're here. There's never a lot of NFL news during the offseason. So we know why we're here, the good old draft. And what a draft it was. The first round was kind of like how the playoffs ended, how, last year was exciting and lots of movement, except for this time with trades. It was actually, very interesting to watch if you weren't a Jags fan. So let's go ahead and start with the Colts. Harish, the Colts. Give us a rundown of your picks. Did you pick up anybody that you thought? Was there anybody you missed that you wish you could have had? And then give us the grade. What did you grade your team's draft? You're on mute. He doesn't want us to hear it. It was that awful.
I thought it was a good draft. I thought they addressed some needs that they had. Obviously, wide receiver was the number one thing. Alec Pierce was a good pickup. He hopefully can develop into a number 2. I think the biggest takeaway from the draft for the Colts this year is athleticism. Every pick they got, the dude was freakishly athletic in some way, shape, or form. I think the biggest pick that really stood out to me that I ended up really liking was Nick Cross, 3rd-round pick on Friday night. Dude is 20 years old, super raw, 4.35 40, a guy that can fly around the ball. One of the things that the Colts really struggled with is having safety depth, and I think Ballard is committed to getting that depth. Also, getting some rotational defensive tackles. Unlike some other teams, just across the league, we actually play our 5th and 6th round picks. So getting some guys out there, and Grover Stewart was a 4th, 5th round pick. So getting a guy that can be another rotational guy is important. We needed a wide receiver, and I was glad that the first pick was a wide receiver, because if it wasn't, I would have definitely righted. Overall, I think it was a B+ draft. I don't, as if I look at it on paper today, I think it's a solid B+. Now, we'll see. That could easily change to an A depending on production, 2-3 years from now. But I'll get a solid B+.
B+. Well, while you're doing that, I'm trying to look up something to debunk a theory that you gave last year. So does anybody want to comment on what they think the grade? We'll start with you, Matt Briggs. What do you think the grade was for the Colts?
I gotta agree with you, Harish. You can B+, maybe a A-, but a high B+.
Matt Grieve?
I'm right along with them. B plus, right around there.
And RJ.
Yeah, I give it about a B plus. Wow, yeah, probably about B.
So I actually can't debunk your theory from last year, so I'm just not even going to bother saying it. But I do want to mention one thing before we wrap up the Colts, Harish. I found a lot of enjoyment, and even though I'm supposed to be non-biased, we know that that's never. I'm not unbiased. I found a lot of enjoyment out of there were the two brothers that came to announce the pick. I believe it was in the 3rd or 4th round, and the subtitle happened to say "Kicked out of playoffs by loss to Jaguars week 18." And there's two brothers, and one was on the shoulder of the other, and they're walking out to do it, and then they fall. And somebody said that was supposed to be like representing the Colts season.
Wow. I mean, I was traveling, so I didn't get a chance to really watch it. I was watching through the mobile phones. Yeah, I mean, it is what it is at this point. You know, you take it and you move on. There's not really much you can do about it. You know, Ballard quietly has had a really good offseason. I did criticize him early in the offseason for not making any moves, being able to turn, some major upgrades. You turn Carson Wentz into Matt Ryan. You turn Rocky Sin into Stephon Gilmore. I mean, I think it was a solid offseason, really good offseason. I think because somebody's no longer a Titan, I think the Colts are the best team in the division right now on paper.
Well, Matt Briggs, go ahead and tell us for the Texans, who were your picks? Who did you want to see? Who you missed out on? Who were you happy that you got? And what was your grade? And also, take it over for me if I'm not back, because my kids never wake up until we're on a podcast. Go ahead.
Gotcha. So we got a good pickup in. I know RJ's hating but he's always a hater. Derek Stingley. I know he said he wants Sauce and McCrary over Stingley. Come on, bro.
Yeah, man. Hey,
get off the gas. Stingley is the best corner. If he didn't get hurt, he'd be the first overall pick. We got
first team.
Then we got Grieve, who a lot of people thought he would be a top 10 pick before the combine. His stock kind of dropped after the combine, but you got him now. Now you can solidify the line, put Howard at right tackle, and keep Green at the guard. My biggest pick, Williamson, there in the second round, 37th. Again, if he didn't get hurt, he'd probably be a top 20 pick. So get him at the 37th pick. Nico Collins, Brandon Cooks, and then Williamson when he comes back healthy, bro, that's gonna be scary. But I gotta say my most favorite pick is Matt. You're down there in Florida. You probably watch a lot of games. Damian Pierce. I have a lot to be excited for, huh?
Yeah, I mean, I don't watch those games because I hate the Gators, but all the local sports radio stations for Northeast Florida are a bunch of Gator homers, and they were super frustrated. After every game, they were super frustrated for a lot of reasons, but one of them was that their running back went super underused. And as a Knoll fan, I was super glad to see that because the guy is talented and he has less tread on his tires compared to most running backs coming out. So you got a fresh, talented running back.
That's one thing I'm excited about. The only thing I would like to see different at 13 instead of getting Green was getting Jermaine Johnson. I thought that would have been a stud pickup, but we traded back, got more picks. I like Nick's whole his whole scheme, what he did. He did a lot of trades. Now, we had, I think, 13 picks before the draft started, and he made a lot of trades and got quality over quantity. So I gotta give it an A- at best. It had to be the top 5 best in the whole NFL, the best by far in Houston history. Like, it was great.
I know you mentioned Jameson Williams. Were you talking about John Mechie?
Yeah, Mechie. Yeah, I'm sorry.
I just wanted to make sure.
You're
think
right.
I was like, dang, I got Jameson Williams.
I was like, hold on a second.
I
I
would
get that an A+.
I mean,
Yeah.
that'd be great. Yeah, Matthew. I always get those two mixed up.
Yeah. The tight end y'all picked up in the 5th round, Tegan Chiortiano.
Yeah.
Is that the guy that had some like crazy things happen to him?
Allegedly, there's no proof. Like all
Yeah.
the investigation got dropped, and like the cops, everybody said there was no proof to it. It was all hearsay.
Gotcha.
So I mean, who knows? I hope not.
Yeah.
But you know how the McNairs are, and Jack Easterby is a Boy Scout there. So I doubt if there was any hints of truth to it. I don't think they pick them, but who knows?
So, Harish, what do you grade the Texans draft?
I give him an A. I think I thought it was a great pick, and I think Matt hit a nail on the coffin. When you get that many picks, you have to get quality over quantity. 2 guys that really stuck out to me are Jalen Peacher, the safety from Baylor. That dude's a speed ball hot guy, and I really liked Thomas Booker. I think they got in the 5th round defensive tackle.
Oh, hold on. We actually have some comments coming in the group I want to highlight real quick, not to cut you off. But this just caught my eye and I wanted to mention this. Benjamin Guadajaro, I hope I'm saying your name right, said that Chris Ballard was actually one of his coaches at Texas A&M University 20 years ago.
Kings, yeah.
But then he had some not so kind things to say about Jack Easterby, which I think most everybody does. And he says the Texans will have over $100 million in cap space. We're going to need an edge rusher and a defensive tackle because Blacklock hasn't done.
Harish just nailed it though. We got Booker and we picked up Green today, which was a great pickup. 24-year-old edge from Seattle. Trusted Nick.
Yeah, a lot of people don't realize Ballard's from Galveston, Texas.
Yep.
Yeah. Which is actually where my mom lived for quite a while until recently. But yeah. Matt Grieve. What do you grade the Jaguars? Or the Jaguars. I'm reading a comment from John Ha who says Jags kicked out of the playoffs by week 2. So that's what
Dang.
I don't even think we make it that far.
I was like, what? Confused.
Y'all day
but
is
also,
coming, man. Y'all day is coming.
what do you grade the Texans draft?
I'll give Renee. It's nice to see a team putting some weapons around their young quarterback, and because I fully believe in Mills. As long as he loses to us, it's cool. But I think he's super talented, and putting some weapons around him was such a good move. Jaguars.
Yep.
Yeah, I was gonna say, do you know what that feels like personally? Not a clue. Not a clue. Oh, I'm sorry.
You don't have any weapons?
Weapons around your young quarterback.
No.
RJ, what do you give the Texans?
I'm gonna give him an A-. Like I said, I still think Sauce is way better than Darius Stingley. No, I'm not a big Darius Stingley person. I'm sorry. Like I'm a big SEC, a big Vol fan. I watch a lot of SEC football. I've seen that dude get killed so many times. No offense, but but I really like Damian Pierce. I feel like he's gonna be a really, really tough back. You know what I'm saying? He was very underutilized in Florida. And Florida's offensive line was trash. Literally, I play Florida every year, so I keep up with them. It was the point, they would literally hand Damian Pierce the ball, and he'd get hit in the backfield before he even do anything. He'd probably break 2-3 tackles. When he gets a good line where he can actually see the holes and stuff, he's going to be very, very hard to tackle. You can see it in the tape. I want the Titans to get him to back up Henry. So.
Yeah, I think you guys might need that backup. But actually, it's a good segue. The Titans draft. I want to ask, the first podcast episode we had you on, I gifted you some expired mayonnaise light. It wasn't Miracle Whip. It was Duke's mayonnaise light, and it was expired. So was that what made AJ Brown leave?
Man, hold on. Before I get onto this AJ Brown, I'm gonna tell you what my whole draft day was like. Basically, it was
give us a breakdown of the life of a Titan during draft day losing AJ Brown. I would love to hear this.
I literally, I'm watching it. I'm watching by the 4 or 5 first first 5 picks. I'm like, oh yeah, everything's good. You know, we started getting into the tens. I was like, I can't wait to see what the Titans about to pick. You know, and then my homeboy, he's real big on Twitter. He's texting me and he's like, oh, you guys are gonna have life without AJ Brown. I can't wait for y'all to see this. Can't wait to see this. And I'm looking like, what is he talking about? And I go on Twitter and it's like maybe like 40 seconds in saying that Adam Schefter saying the Titans are trading AJ Brown. And I'm looking, I was like, no, there's no way. And I'm to the point where I'm looking at the TV and I'm like in disgust and I'm pacing left and right with my head down, just like sad. I'm just thinking about all the AJ Brown highlights. I'm just like, man, like I'm gonna miss AJ Brown. Like I literally have an AJ Brown jersey in my closet, and I'm like, man, I'm just looking at it.
Listen,
I put it on my bed.
But listen, before you talk to the Jaguar fans about like I have that jersey and they were traded, like you can't tell the Jaguars fans anything when it comes to that.
Man, it's to the point I'm like, man, I can't even get on Facebook. I know AFC fan battle is tearing me up. Like, and I waited probably like 20 minutes. I had to soak this in. Like, I was hurting. I was like, man, I got to see who we gonna pick. And I seen that we traded up, and I'm like, Lord have mercy, who we gonna get? And I go on for AFC fan battle. I have over 30 plus notifications. So
I'm
just
sure you
tagging
did.
me left and right. And
I'm
I'm like, Lord have mercy. Like, I'm about to respond to all these people.
I'm sure
Everybody
you did.
tagging. I had like 20 messages.
I do want to give a shout out to our other commentators, John Haw and Flame Douglas and not Josh Sr., that's Colts, Ray Cherry, because, you know, especially Ray Cherry and Flame, because I actually got on my timeline. I wasn't even in the AFC fan battle group, and I saw Flame was like, I'm so hurt right now. It was like 15 minutes later. Okay, I'm over it now, but, you know, best of luck, you know, best wishes. And I was like, no, you're not. We all lie to ourselves, buddy. It's okay. You're really hurt. You know, I mean, that was tough. That was a tough one for you guys.
Yeah,
but that being said, you guys traded him and traded up in the draft. How do you feel about your picks? Everybody seems to be saying you basically traded AJ Brown for a younger AJ Brown. So
for the most part, yes. I really, really like Traylon Burks. Like that was my number one receiver that I wanted us to get from this draft. But I wanted to get him with the AJ Brown. I didn't want to just have him as the number one receiver.
Yeah.
You know, I was like, man, Traylon Burks, like he's just built to be a Titan. Like if you literally just watch him play. But I really, really like Traylon Burks. He's big. He's good. Run after the catch. My cons on him is like really he needs to work on his route running. Like he can't really separate like that. He's not the fastest wide receiver. He only runs like a 4.55, I think. So I mean, he's not the fastest wide receiver. But I feel like with him pairing up with Robert Woods is probably going to help out his route running. Let me see. The second pick that we got is to me the best DB in the South, Roger McCreary. You know, best DB pick in the South. that was a shot at Matt. No, but I really, really like Roger McCreary. I think that was a good pick in the second round. He's very, very, very battle tested. He's seen damn near every wide receiver possible, like from Jahan Dotson to Traylon Burks to Jamison Williams to John Mechie, pretty much everybody that was drafted in the first round. And he's had his, a lot of the wide receivers that came out and said, yeah, Roger McCreary from Auburn. Yeah, he's the guy that I really did not like going against. His cons are he's kind of small. He has very, very small hands, and he doesn't run very fast. I think he runs like a 4.5. So
now that you say it, there was a lot of I can't recall another draft. I mean, I know it's important clearly, but I can't recall another draft where I heard so much about hands as I did this draft. And then somebody even said well, it's important now. It's one of the biggest things that the scouts look at, which, I mean, I clearly get the reasoning behind it, but it goes back to that Jimmy Smith episode when he was talking about the difference in catching between a left hand and a right hand, and it's this is all I heard this whole draft. Oh, I don't know. He's got small hands, or, oh man, that guy, he only ran this in the combine, but he's got some large hands. And I'm like, there are a lot of hand references in this draft, more than before, but go ahead.
Our next pick was Nicholas Patry Free. I don't know how to say this dude's last name. It's the little Ohio State tackle that we got. So far, what I've seen from him, he's really, really versatile. I've seen him get beat a lot in pass blocking. So, I mean, you know how the Titans are. We don't pass block for anything. So we just run block. And my favorite pick from the draft is clearly Malik Willis. I think he I think if he really works on his skills, if he really sits behind Ryan Tannehill and learns how to game manage like Ryan Tannehill, I really think he could be the guy. You know, he has all the athletic traits. He's fast. He has a cannon of an arm. Really, he needs to just work on just learning, having a system that makes him look good. You know, being more efficient. Pretty much doing what Ryan Tannehill does. He doesn't. You know, Ryan Tannehill just can't make something out of nothing. That's his. Like whenever the play breaks down, it's like he's helpless and he just gets sacked. You know what I mean? Fumble, throw a pick. You know what I'm saying? He doesn't do that. Malik Willis can like escape pressure and do all this other stuff. The next pick is Hassan Haskins that we got in the 4th round. I think he's a very powerful back. I think he's a very good spell back to Derrick Henry. Now we won't have to give Derrick Henry 35 carries every game and pretty much wear him out before he gets to the playoffs. He'll have another power back, another battering ram to go with him. What my cons with him is that he's not very fast. He doesn't really have too many juke moves. He's just trying to stiff arm people and run people over like Derrick Henry, but small.
I was gonna say like Derrick Henry.
Yeah, like, he's like Derrick Henry.
What Derrick Henry does, yeah.
Yeah. The next pick was Chiga Okonkwo, who is basically a Jonnu Smith. He doesn't have very good routes, but he's a big tight end, big fast tight end. He runs a 4.5. He's run a 4.4 at his pro day. He definitely, to me, Jonnu Smith. Like he's literally the same thing.
Yeah.
Next pick, Kyle Phillips, 5th round. Kyle Phillips, he's more of a Adam Humphries type. Hunter Renfrow little slot white boy. You know, pretty much belong on the New England Patriots. Type wide receiver.
Typical, yeah.
Yeah.
An Edelman type.
Yeah, pretty much an Edelman. Theo Jackson. I actually really liked him at Tennessee, but I try not to really give him too much praise because I sometimes get orange glasses. And Theo Jackson, he's a hard worker. I don't really know too much about him like that, but he's a very, very hard worker. And the last pick was Chance Campbell. For what I've heard, that he's just a very physical linebacker. He likes to stop the run, for what I've seen. And so far, I give that draft a B+. I think the Texans had the best draft in the AFC South. I think we were in 2nd and 3rd. To me, is the Colts.
Oh,
and 4th is the Jags.
oh. Matt Briggs, what do you give the Titans draft?
Before I give I got to put this comment up.
Nova did not like the Titans draft. Clearly, Harish's dog Nova did not like the Titans draft.
Our favorite agent Ha, he says awful. Lose a proven player for a player we don't know if he can play in the pros.
Yeah, he's got a point.
That is the biggest problem I had with the draft.
But do you think that AJ Brown just didn't want to be at the Titans anymore because
he wanted 20 to 22 guaranteed million, and the Titans only offered him 16. So
but I also feel like because there was talks that he wasn't showing up to practices and stuff like that.
Well,
Vrabel looked he looked hurt.
Pissed. Did you see?
He didn't look pissed. He looked
he was pissed.
No,
he looked upset.
Did you see the picture? He got up and he walked out he was done.
Listen, as the female on the show who always comments that I only like Mike Vrabel when he's mad because he's attractive when he's mad. Only when he's mad is he attractive. I'm telling you that man was not mad. He was sad.
I'm telling you, he did not like it one bit.
Yeah.
So to me, I gotta give it a B+ best, just because you could have structured Tannehill's contract if you're gonna go after Willis, traded Tannehill, and then keep your star player, because now if Tannehill does suck again and you put Willis, you don't have a veteran receiver like you did in Brown to help him out.
I do want to highlight before we move on to Matt Grieve. I want to highlight Chris Jackson's comment too. If you're counting on Ryan Tannehill to teach Willis to be a decent quarterback, y'all be drafting another quarterback very soon. Which is, I was the whole time you were saying that, I was.
I mean, look, I understand. Yeah, Ryan Tannehill gets a lot of crap, but he's not a bad quarterback. He just makes mistakes. But you got to look at it. He still took us, even with Derrick Henry and without AJ Brown, he was winning games. He finds ways to win. It's just
he lost the
spectacular.
playoffs for you, right?
Yeah,
I got receipts. Harish can back me up on this. Harish, how many times in the group does RJ post, I'm done with Tannehill. Come on, Malik Willis. I'm done with Tannehill.
Listen,
Tannehill trash.
At
least 5 times a week.
I've never asked him out he's trash though. He just be selling.
Don't even let them hate on you, RJ, because it's a common. Besides John Hall, there is no Titans fan that is in the group that commentates on this podcast who ever backs up what they say in the group. Not a one. You know. So you could be RJ Ellison in the group and here you're Robert Johnson Ellison. Proper. That's the way we used to joke around with Flame Douglas. We called him Jonathan on the podcast because he had Flame in the group and Jonathan on the podcast where he'd be like, yeah, we could really do better. And in the group, he's like, yeah, suck it. Like completely different people.
But look, my thing is with Ryan Tannehill. Like, it's like when you're not a Titans fan, if you hate the Titans, you're going to think he's the worst quarterback ever. But when you know what I'm saying, when you're a Titans fan and you see him dot up half the AFC South, most of the AFC South, it's like he's not bad. You know what I'm saying? He just messes up in the big moments, I
think the difference between Ryan Tannehill as the Titans quarterback and then like all the other washed up quarterbacks that the Colts had is literally that Ryan Tannehill had Derrick Henry.
Hey, here's a comment from Chris Jackson. He said, by the way, Mama RJ is my new favorite person. He's cool as hell.
Hey, I'm telling you, I got the coolest mom alive. Like, we went to the Grizzlies game yesterday, and I'm talking about, man, she was in there having fun, listening to trap music. Like, she's so cool, man.
That was a wild game, too.
And Mother's Day is coming up. I love when sons love their mothers.
I'm a mama's boy. I
gotta give it B-, B at best.
Okay. Harish?
Yeah, right there with them. I mean,
B-.
That AJ Brown trade really killed it.
It really hurts. Like if you kept AJ, here's my thing about AJ Brown and Treylon Burks. If Treylon Burks amounts to the next AJ Brown, the greatest receiver ever drafted by the Titans, they're gonna have to pay him more in 4 years than they would have had to pay AJ Brown today. The receiver market is going up. The receivers are now important again. They are now relevant. So in 4 years, Treylon Burks is going to want $25-30 million. You're going to do it all over again? I think there was an opportunity to keep AJ Brown happy. If they wanted him as bad as they said they did, they could have kept him happy. I think that's just the biggest thing. I just felt like the Titans draft was strange. The fact that they got a trio of guys, a quarterback, a running back, and a wide receiver who all could pan out, right? It almost in a way sounded like they were drafting for the future today. And I get the whole notion of, well, we just won the AFC and we were the number 1 seed and the sky is pink. But at the same time, you were just the number 1 seed in the AFC. You just needed a couple more pieces to keep going. And so That's
but did they have the cap space? Because I know the cap space was a huge issue.
Yeah, our cap space was
according to Titans fans, the cap space doesn't exist. It's non-existent.
I mean,
that didn't come to me.
Look at the Rams just signed their 900 All-Pro.
Hey, I'm gonna let you know now. The Rams about to fall off. Like I'm telling you, they give them about a year or two, and all this signing they doing, it's gonna come back and bite them in the ass.
And look what they got.
But they've gotten the Super Bowl out of it.
Right.
Yeah, they got the Super Bowl. So, I mean, it's a good way for them to fall off.
They've been to 2 in 5 years. So, I mean, they're doing something right.
If you're going to go all in more than a year is my whole thing. Like, they basically went all in last year. And then they're like, well, you know what? Let's just start building for the future.
Yeah.
Right.
Matt Grieve, what do you draft the Titans draft?
In true AFC South fan battle spirit, a big fat F. Because I hate the
Titans. Like it.
And I grade it mayonnaise. Expired. Matt Grieve, since you're on the hot mic.
Oh my gosh.
I got some feedback coming in through my headphones. Give me 2 seconds. I believe that's me. Can you guys hear that, or is it only me?
That's only you.
No, I heard it too.
You did? Mm-hmm. Okay, let's try this better. Okay, Matt Grieve. The Jaguars.
All right. So
give us who Who would you rather have gotten the first pick? Like amongst
Well,
it, like the same as everybody else. Who did you miss? And just break it down and give us a grade.
Yeah. So first round, one of our first round picks had 15.5 career sacks, and another first round pick had 9.5 career sacks. Can you tell me which one is a defensive end? The guy with the 9.5.
Pick.
Yes. Devin Lloyd, the linebacker, had more freaking sacks from the linebacker position, not only last year, but in his entire collegiate career, more than Trevin Walker. I get it that Walker had he was kind of a Swiss Army knife, right? He was here, there, and everywhere. But when you are a team that's drafting first overall 2 years running, and you're a perennial garbage team with a random winning year in 2017 with, I'm not sure where that came from now, but when you're drafting first overall 2 years in a row, you don't draft somebody who has a high ceiling, who has good potential, right? You want the guy who has the high floor and the high ceiling. We went with the potential. You know what kind of idiot does that? Oh, I know. Our GM. Yeah. Our freaking GM. No, you go with, and you know what? I hope he becomes the greatest of all time. Not only the greatest Jag, but the greatest NFL player of all time. I really do. Nothing against Walker himself. It's against Trent Baalke, right? And it sucks that Walker's been put in this position that he's first overall. But when you're like when you're known for being the first number one overall pick to not make any sort of first team, second team, third team in your respective conference coming in. I don't know if you guys knew that. I don't even think he made like the third All-ACC team last year. And yet here he is, number one overall. Leave it to the freaking Jaguars. I'd rather have Gene Smith back drafting someone from FSCJ. If you know what that is, that's the local community college in Jacksonville.
I literally had this same exact conversation with somebody, actually, and I referred to Balk as great value, Gene Smith, because it's even worse. Because at least we have at least Gene Smith's last year there was Brian Anger, and isn't he still in the league? So I mean,
he's still actually really good. He's one of the better punters in the league.
Yeah, third round punter.
He's not on our freaking team anymore, much like everybody else.
Like everybody
now,
else.
I know, you know, just because you didn't have the stats in college doesn't necessarily mean you're not going to be good. Look at the former cornerback of the Jaguars, who's now at the Rams. I'm not going to say his name, but he didn't have a whole lot of interceptions coming into the league, but here he is. He's one of the top players in his position. So it's not all about stats.
Matt, let me ask you something. I saw something on Twitter that Baalke wanted Walker, Peterson wanted Neal, and Sad wanted Hutchinson. Is that true, or is that just?
Well, that's what they're saying. That's what they're saying. But when they had the news conference, of course, they were all, you know, one team, one fight. They were all like, no, we all wanted this one guy. Yeah. So I don't know. I'm thinking that Peterson was just like, this guy's an idiot. Let him take this pick because I'm going to have his job in 2 years.
Yeah, true. Now, who did you say,
honestly,
Matt Briggs, you said that Colin wanted Hutchinson?
Yep.
Yeah, that's what the word was during the week.
Yeah, but what does Colin have any leverage in your opinion?
Yeah, he's the owner.
He's the owner.
I mean, yeah, but he doesn't know about football. I mean, everything I've heard is that like him and Tom Coughlin would kind of butt heads because he just would be there asking questions. So of course he's the owner, he's paying the money, but who is there a scout reporting to all three of them separately?
Believe it or not, Khan in this situation was actually the smartest person in the room.
Right. Yeah, very true. But anyways, go ahead.
So I mean, I get it. Like as they drafted through the night, you know, we got Devin Lloyd, who's a beast. I'm super excited to have Devin Lloyd. The guy's a monster. And then we got Fortner at the as a center. That
was a good pickup for you.
He'll potentially be our starting center. And then Chad Muma, another freaking linebacker. So if you're looking at it this way, so Lloyd, he's obviously got the statistics and the talent to be able to hit the quarterback, right? And so they're probably going to be sending him after the quarterback and have Chad sit back, I guess, is what the idea is, I guess. They also, it seems like they wanted to have people who were athletic and able to kind of do a lot all over the field. But again, when you're as bad as we are, you don't need people who are Swiss Army knives. You need specialists who are good at one thing, and that's, I mean, and that's the key to winning. Really, is a bunch of guys who are good at one thing, not a bunch of guys who are good at doing a lot of things. So I'm super disappointed in our draft. Most of our picks, like I said, the next pick, freaking Connor, the running back out of Ole Miss. I mean, come on. Like, we could have had a running back of that same caliber that we could have picked up after the draft, in my opinion.
Yeah.
And then the late round picks, the cornerbacks, we'll see, I guess, as with all of them. But I wasn't too happy. There was Trip Baalke had said in a news conference, and I quote, let's see. I know special teams wise, he's going to fit in day one. This is our linebacker that we drafted in the 3rd round. A special teams player. I'm sorry.
So, do you think that he intends on using him?
No.
He does. Or
is he just a moron?
I see the problem with the Jaguars. Like, it's y'all front office, man. Like, it isn't there, man. Like, it's like, what kind of picks are you?
Well, honestly, it starts at the top. This many years in a row with bad hirings, it starts. I mean, I hate to say it, it starts with the stash, and I hate that. I hate to say that, but it starts with him because he's the one hiring these guys who are making these bad decisions. I hope Walker does not very good for his first 2 years and gets Baalke the boot, and then I hope he has an all-pro career after that, because I think Baalke is just terrible.
You would have to think if y'all don't start leading towards success this year, that Baalke's gone, right? I mean, everybody wants him gone.
And the rumor mill is that him and Tony Khan do not get along at all. They cannot stand each other. They don't even sit by each other. And so, I mean, Tony got half stake in the team officially. I think it was in October. I would love for my dad to give me half of a football team for my birthday. But I think that's going to give more leverage the more say he has, I guess. But yeah. So what would be the grade for the Jaguars draft, Matt Grieve?
Gosh, the more that I talk about it, the more angry I get, the lower it gets. But I'm gonna say a solid C-, just because Walker is talented. Devin Lloyd is super talented. They're all talented, right? But I don't know if necessarily they were the right picks for the future, especially when you've got a young, potential generational quarterback that you need to be doing what the Texans did and putting weapons around. Yes, I know we addressed a lot of the offense in free agency, but you can never have – it's not like we have freaking Peyton Manning running our offense or Aaron Rodgers. Green Bay and Indianapolis got away with drafting defense because they had an offense. We don't even have an offense. Before we get to the defense, we need to shore up our offense. And so C- for me. Sorry.
You're good. Hey, I can tell you and the rest of Jaguars Twitter. Jaguars Facebook's happy. There's such a difference in the fans. I love it. Harish, Jaguars draft grade.
I call this the great Trent fuck you draft. This is Trent Baalke basically telling Shad Khan to go suck a dick. And he's going to do whatever he does. What if this was the sabotage draft for Trent? And he's just like, you know what? I don't even care anymore what happens to this team. And that's basically how he drafted. Like, I basically feel like all the picks were random.
But
picked out of a hat.
Did Doug Peterson not have a say?
Doug Peterson's the new guy. Nobody cares what he thinks. That's basically what it seemed like.
Yeah.
Doug Peterson's the offensive genius that got no offense in the draft.
Yeah.
So, I mean,
he's the pawn, man. He's the pawn.
Yeah, it sucks for him because, again, I don't think Doug Peterson was a bad hire. I do think Trent Baalke is an idiot, and I do think Shad Khan is clueless. He can't even run a football team or a soccer team. That's two teams he can't run.
They can run a wrestling league, though.
That's his son.
Khan is like he's like the Jerry Jones that doesn't know what the hell he's doing. You know, that's basically like he has like his handprint on everything, but like he don't know how to get talent. You know, he's like
I think that's part of the problem is that he doesn't he just doesn't care. So part of the problem is like he'll do hires and then he'll be like, nope, we trust him now, and then they're like, oh yeah, watch this.
Walks away. Yeah.
So what's your grade, Harish?
I don't know, D-.
Wow. Okay.
Damn.
Ouch.
Coming in hot. Worse than the Titans. Wow. Okay. Matt Briggs.
I gotta go C+, B- at best, because if you changed the Walker pick, it could easily be a B+ to an A-. Walker just screwed you over, and the linebackers, like Matt said, like why you can go, back-to-back linebackers is just crazy. I thought trading up to get Lloyd was great. So I mean, if you drafted Hutch or even Thibodeau, and then traded up, you won night one easily. But that Walker, the potential might be there, but it's rough.
RJ. Go ahead, Harish.
Even if they would have traded down and gotten Walker, I would have been okay with that.
Right. Yeah,
yes.
Exactly.
Yeah. You don't pick anybody over Aiden Hutchinson. Are you kidding me?
Or Thibodeau at that. I mean, if you're getting the edge.
I didn't want Thibodeau. I would have taken Walker over Thibodeau.
Now, I remember when I was last time I was on this show, I think I told you, you was trying to tell me that you wanted Evan Neal, and I'm like, nah, man, you got to get one of them pass rushers, dude. I'm telling you, that's going to change your whole defense around.
Well,
I would have wanted Evan Neal if we hadn't signed Cam Robinson. Now, that's a whole gripe for another day, so.
Yeah. All right, RJ, what do you give the grade for the Jaguars draft?
I give him a C+. I really like the linebackers that y'all picked. I think the linebackers a linebacker can change the whole defense too. Just having good linebackers that can stop the pass and control the run. I really like Walker. I think Walker's a really, really good player. It depends on how you guys use him. I don't know how you guys are going to use him. If you put him all over the place like Georgia did, I think that would be a very, very good fit for y'all. I really, really like Devin Lloyd. I thought he was, to me, one of the best linebacker in the draft. To me, I think Devin Lloyd's a really, really good player. If you really watch his tape, that dude he's a game changer, bro. Yeah. But the rest of the draft, to me, it was kind of boring. I mean, it just seemed like y'all were kind of just filling needs, So to me, I give it a C+. And I agree with you say about Snoop Connor too. I never saw really much from Snoop Connor. I mean, we played Ole Miss, and I was like, Snoop Connor, he okay? I mean, like to me, I feel like you guys could have got that one guy from Oklahoma and he's better than Kennedy Brooks. I think he's way better than Snoop Connor. Todd Chandler is better than Snoop Connor. There's a lot of running backs though, but the Tyler Beatty from Missouri is better than Snoop Connor in my opinion.
Yeah. So selfishly, I was really upset that nobody, but mainly the Jaguars, did not pick up Trey Smith.
Mm-hmm.
That was just me. Shout out to him.
Oh.
He did post that he didn't get what he wanted in the draft. We picked up one of his teammates from Wyoming. Mm-hmm. But everyone go give him your well wishes. I hope he gets picked up by a team, after the draft. And I hated that. Trey's our guy. We can't wait to have him on here and hear about his whole experience. But that one hurt me. I was waiting on that one. I'm like, come on, Jaguars, just like pick him up, or someone. I didn't even care. I told him, wherever you go, I would hate to see him in it.
He'd been a better pickup than the Ole Miss running back. So I mean,
yeah. Right. I can't get up. That's a bad pick. That's a
when we picked up his what's his name? His teammate from Wyoming. I said, yes. I said, the Jaguars have historically been known to draft teammates, and then we didn't get him. I was really upset. That one hurt me. But shout out to him. Really quick.
Why did y'all need a running back though? Now that I look back at it, why did y'all even
don't?
Yeah,
we don't. If linebackers and running backs, the Jaguars don't need them. We're full, right?
Yeah, for the
We got
most
them all.
part. To me, y'all getting that one guy back, Travis Etienne, and you guys have y'all still have the what's it, James Robinson?
James Robinson.
Yeah,
Yeah,
y'all
the
still
problem
have
is
him.
that they're coming off of scary injuries that it could really go one way or the other. And so I get why they were going to pick a running back, but if you're going to pick that guy, just wait till after the draft and sign him as an undrafted free agent.
Yeah, I don't think anybody was going to
Or
draft
sign
him.
me, dang it.
Yeah, seriously. Maybe they plan on filling the defense with linebackers and the offense with running backs, and that's just going to be the new scheme. You know,
Madden 23.
What do you think, Matt Grieve? Would that be good?
You want to say it again?
End scene.
All right. Well, real quick, Chris Royal is back live in the group. We haven't heard from him since about like week 9, and then occasionally about the fact that Deshaun Watson wasn't going to get traded, and then he did get traded, and so now he's popped up again because and he posted this 2022 draft grades, and I just want to read it because
oh God, help me.
So it's from NFL.com draft analyst Chad Reuter, and he gave the Titans an A. He gave the Jaguars a B+, which that seems to be the general consensus. I have seen A- and B+. I haven't seen very many bad ones for the Jags, so it's funny that you guys are saying something different. This one was kind of confusing to me too because I've heard the opposite. He gave the Colts a C. And the Texans, where are the Texans on here? Here we go, B for the Texans. So I don't know. Drafts are always crazy. Draft grades are always crazy to me because, at the end of the day, we just never know, right?
The Indianapolis Colts are far from the sea. I'm sorry.
Quick question. What did he give the Jets?
If you give me 1 minute, I will look back.
The Jets had a really good draft.
New York Jets, he gave an A.
Yeah, they had a really, really
at least
good
he's
draft.
Not a complete idiot.
He pretty much had all A, Bs, and Cs, though, now that I'm looking at it. I didn't even look at that. There's nobody with less than a C.
I know it's a little bit off topic, but I really think the Jets might be better than the Patriots. Yeah, people think that's crazy. I'm like, dude, I don't know, man. They kind of stacking up for them.
The Jets had an excellent draft, especially the first night. Jesus, man, the haul that they were able to get was, and they made some great picks, man.
I also want to mention before the season starts that it's going to be extremely difficult for me, just like it was really hard for me to say the Los Angeles Chargers from the San Diego Chargers. It took me forever. And then from the Redskins to the football team to now say the Washington Commanders.
Yeah.
It's just, I'm going to be messing that up all season long. So I just want to preface entire season 4 with, with that. Well, that's a wrap for the draft episode. We're about to get back into the thick and heavy of it as people start coming into their teams, and we're getting into practices and training camps and things like that. We do have a few guests coming up. Matt Briggs, would you like to announce that?
Oh, yes. Antonio, I was going to say who? Patea, the ex-safety from the Colts, is coming on. And also, like Sam said, we're trying to get Trey Smith to come back on and talk us his experience. So in a couple of weeks, make sure y'all check it out.
Yep. And you can find all of us on Twitter or any of our respective social medias. Well, except for RJ. He gets his info from his friend, right, on Twitter. But Matt, Briggs, tell us where to find you on Twitter.
A1 Day 1 Texans.
And Matt also has a Texans podcast that airs live during the week. And what is the name of it?
Texans Fan Battle Podcast.
There you go. Harish, where can we find you on Twitter space?
Find me at the Uncle Gandhi, Ghanti.
Thank you for spelling for those of us who can't. And Matthew Grieve, where do we find you on Elon Musk's message board?
You find sports hosts. Twitter at Matthew G Sports.
Got it. RJ.
Well, I'm in the midst of starting my own podcast, and I'm probably going to name it Rise of the Titans. So when I get it all set up, I'll come back on here and I'm gonna have it all set up for y'all.
Yeah, send it out to us, and we can post it on our page as well.
Yeah.
And of course, you can find me on Twitter and Instagram at Sammy Football with an I. We thank you guys for tuning in, and we will see you. Is it next week or the week after, Matt?
2 weeks.
We'll see you in 2 weeks. Goodbye, everyone.
All right.
Peace.